Topher Presser from the NYPD with the latest information. Welcome to CBS News New York at 11 a.m. I'm Mary Calvi. We are streaming live with your top stories of the day. Happening now, the NYPD giving an update on that shooting in Brownsville. Let's go to it now.
And he has a loving and supportive family. The mayor is fully briefed in the loop on all aspects, and we are fortunate that all of these brave officers are doing well, and we hope and pray for them complete recoveries, and we're pleased to be able to spend time with them to thank them for their bravery and their service. You know, in the past 48 hours, we buried a fallen firefighter hero, and we're here today involving a shooting and accidents involving young hero police officers. You know, and it reinforces in our minds the incredible bravery and dedication of our uniformed services and what they do to protect us every day. That is why we live in the safest big city in America, because of young men and women who serve and sacrifice to make our city safe. And we are so grateful to these heroes and so grateful to their families who share in that sacrifice. We're grateful to the hospital staff here for their service and making sure that these young men and women in uniform get the care that they need. And we are, on behalf of the mayor and all New Yorkers, we thank them for their service, their sacrifice, and their bravery. And now I'll turn it over to the commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I am joined here by First Deputy Mayor Randy Mastro, First Deputy Commissioner Tanya Kinsella, Chief of Department Mike LaPetri, Chief of Patrol Phil Rivera, Chief of Detectives Joe Kenny, and Pat Hendry of the PBA. Today is another reminder of what's at stake when your NYPD officers come to work. They never know what will be on the other side of that door, but whatever it is, they face it with an uncommon valor that defines this department. The information that I am about to provide is preliminary and it is subject to change. At this point, here is what we know. Just before 6 a.m. this morning, EMS responded to an unconscious male in front of 1046 Thomas S. Boylan Street in the Brownsville section of Brooklyn. Upon arrival, they could see a victim had been shot, and they notified the NYPD. The victim, Leroy Wallace, was confirmed shot and pronounced DOA. And one shotgun shell casing was found in the vestibule of the building where we believe the victim was shot. We believe he stumbled outside to the sidewalk where he collapsed and where he was found. 2 officers from the 7-3 precinct remained to secure the scene, one with the victim's body outside on the sidewalk and one inside of the building with the shotgun shell casing. Then, approximately at 7:45 a.m., a male opens the door of one of the first-floor apartments and fires at the officer in the hallway from close range with a shotgun, striking the officer on the left side of his face. His injuries are consistent with birdshot pellets being fired from a shotgun. Our cop returns fire, and the perp barricades himself back inside of the apartment. The officer, Sharheel Waris, 25 years old, was then rushed to Brookdale University Hospital Medical Center and is currently in stable condition. While responding to the call of an officer shot, 2 other officers from the 7-3 precinct were involved in a vehicle collision at the intersection of New Lots Avenue and Thomas Boylan Street. Both officers in the RMP, as well as the operator of the other vehicle, were also taken to Brookdale Hospital. All suffered minor injuries and are currently in stable condition. ESU officers then responded to the scene of the shooting, which was now a barricaded armed perp locked inside of an apartment, and they secured the perimeter. To get a better idea of what was happening inside, ESU was able to break a first-floor window, and they flew a drone into the apartment. Camera footage showed a male lying motionless on the kitchen floor with a shotgun on the floor near him. ESU then made entry into the apartment to render aid, and the perp was pronounced DOA on scene. At this time, we are not releasing the name of the perpetrator, pending further investigation and family notification. Officer Juarez is a 4-year veteran of the NYPD assigned to the 7-3 precinct. We met with him a few moments ago, and I am pleased to report that he is in good spirits. But make no mistake, this could have ended very differently. What happened this morning is a reminder of how quickly danger finds the men and women who protect this city. They stood their ground, they did their jobs, and they kept people safe. And once again, they reminded us all what it means to put on that uniform. I will now turn it over to Pat Hendry.
Pat Hendry, President of the New York City PBA. Last night, when this police officer turned out in roll call, he had no idea what he was going to face during his tour. And even when him and his partner received that radio run, they didn't know what they were going to face inside that apartment behind that door. But when they went to that location, all they saw was a New Yorker in need, and they didn't hesitate. They took action. He came within inches of losing his life, but because of his skill and his composure, he's in that hospital room right now, upbeat. I had the opportunity to talk to him. 19 years old when he took the test to become an NYPD officer. 21 when he came on the department. A job that he always wanted to do, and he loves doing it, and he's going to continue to do it and do it well. But we ask all New Yorkers to pray for this police officer so that he gets back to full duty, and support all New York City police officers more than ever. And I ask all of our elected leaders to work with us, to support New York City police officers. Help us make our job easier. Do not make our job harder. Together, we can keep New Yorkers safe, but we need your support more than ever.
Oops. All right, we'll now take a few questions.
All right, folks, we have a picture of the shotgun, and we're going to take some on-topic questions. We're going to start with Rocco Brownsville, New York Daily News.
Commissioner, Chief Kenny, what was the homicide about? And was there any indication between when police arrived and when he opened fire that the gunman was in fact still inside the building?
No, there was no indication that the gunman was still inside. Night watch actors from Brooklyn North, detectives actually knocked on that door an hour previously and got no answer. As far as the homicide, we're still looking into that. It appears that this could have been a neighbor dispute because the victim of that homicide lived in the apartment down the hallway.
Okay, WCBS.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to ask about the relationship, if there's any known relationship among those men, and also, was this person, the suspect, was he known to any prior arrests, or was he known to?
Like I said, not positively 100% identified as of yet, but we do have a person of interest that we're looking into, and that person has no arrest history in New York City.
Yeah, they're on topics. Brittany,
when the officer, after he was shot, when he fired back at the suspect, I don't believe you said, did anybody get hit? Did the suspect get struck at that point?
We believe the suspect was shot by the injured officer who returned fire once he was shot in the face.
Okay, and do you know where he was shot at that point?
Not at this time, still under investigation.
and we go to WABC.
Could that injury have been the fatal injury, or was there also a self-inflicted?
We don't believe that there was a self-inflicted wound. There was no ballistics evidence besides the shotgun laying on the floor. There were no discharged shell casings inside the apartment.
I am John Doyle, WCBS.
Chief, of the bird shot, one hit the officer in the face. They know where the other spray landed? Was it throughout the hallway?
Crime scene's going through that right now.
All right, folks, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you. The photo is going to be available on NYPD News momentarily.
And we have been watching the police commissioner and the first deputy mayor, as well as others, giving an update on a shooting in Brownsville. And now let's turn things over to our weather for the week. How are we starting out?
Now, your first alert weather forecast.
Yeah, it's a chilly start, Mary. It's 11:10 right now. We've got some clouds in the mix. It's definitely coats weather. It's 41 with a west wind. Numbers area-wide are not typical for what you'd expect this time of the year. A little cooler than that. We should be on our way to the mid-50s. Instead, it's the wind. That's still something we're battling. Gust 30 to 40 makes a difference. Thankfully, I think we can get the winds to settle down a little bit later tonight. Then tomorrow, finally, single digits. So it does feel better with time. Wind chills at this hour, 30, so 40s doesn't really feel like it. We do have a few flakes that are trying to make its way into the Catskills, but generally it's a quiet day and certainly drier than it was yesterday. But you see the lake effect snow machine still cranking, and occasionally some of these will try to maybe sneak into, say, the Catskills or the Hudson Valley. But it's the big time winds that you're still feeling, which means all afternoon long, can we get these wind chills out of the 30s? It's going to be a struggle. Now, winds do settle down late tonight and tomorrow. Do want to alert you about a system coming through. And an updated in the model is showing that, hey, the rain could actually be a little further north. So there's a new trend here that shows perhaps the city into the Hudson Valley, maybe as far as north as 84. You could see a few showers as this comes through late tomorrow night. A lot of this will be like overnight while you're sleeping, but there could be enough moisture here for some flakes to fly for a time, primarily north and west of New York City into Wednesday morning. So numbers are going up. We could use the rain, but all in all, I think the timing is such that it's not a major travel headache. It's a quarter to a half inch of rain as this goes by. Rain deficits now closing in on 3 inches. So could use some rain. I think we can get some. After that, our next rain chance comes up on Friday. It's about a 30% opportunity. Highs will generally in the 40s up until then, and we've got 50s maybe returning by Friday.
Tony, thank you. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here at noon. I'm Mary Calvi. Have a great day. An apartment fire on Roosevelt Island left one person dead, and this morning we are learning more about what happened. One person was killed. 3 firefighters were hurt in the fire Saturday night on Main Street between West and River Roads. Officials have not yet released their identity. CBS News New York went back to the complex yesterday where the FDNY was still on the scene. A woman who has lived in the building for 40 years tells us the fire alarms were not working.
None of the fire alarms in the building went off. So people were smelling the smoke. They called the elevator shut down, and I had to lead people to other buildings to actually walk through the building. So it was like for maybe like 4 or 5 hours. So, you know, we're a very small community. We live closely together, so it affected everyone.
The cause of the fire is still under investigation. A massive stolen car ring hidden behind everyday Facebook ads has just been exposed. 8 people were federally charged on Friday in connection with dozens of stolen cars worth millions of dollars. Alice Gaynor sat down with the NYPD chief of detectives who explains the high-tech way the alleged thieves pass the cars off as legit to buyers.
Ads on Facebook Marketplace for these used vehicles look legit, but police say these are all stolen cars.
They were changing the VINs of the cars and then creating a new history for that VIN by bringing the cars to get serviced at oil change locations, getting them inspected, bringing them to dealerships to get regular maintenance, and that would build a history for that car in Carfax.
8 men ranging in age from 24 to 48 are now charged in connection with the car theft ring that police say began around 2022 and continued up until now, involving more than 100 cars, particularly Honda, Acura, and Jeep vehicles, stolen mainly from the Bronx and Queens. NYPD Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenny explains how the investigation unfolded.
When we're looking at the LPR, meaning the license plate reader of the stolen car, we would see what car was following behind it. And the commonality was we saw a similar car, the same car, on multiple steals.
The vehicles, he says, were being sold out of state and out of the country, so the feds got involved too. He says the alleged thieves would break the driver's side door lock, get into the car's computer, and change the key fob to the one they had.
How can you verify that what you're getting isn't a stolen vehicle, especially if they're going to these great lengths?
If it seems too good to be true, it is. If you see a $40,000 car listed for $24,000, for $26,000, your flags might want to get raised up right there and think that there's something wrong with that car.
The men face charges including conspiracy to possess and sell stolen vehicles and wire fraud. If convicted, they could face decades behind bars. Outside of One Police Plaza in Lower Manhattan, Alice Gaynor, CBS News, New York.
The Trump administration is rolling back some tariffs and floating several ideas to lower the cost of living. It comes as the president faces backlash from Americans who are struggling to pay their bills. Ali Bauman has more details on what many are calling a crisis of affordability.
Even after the government reopened this week, hundreds lined up at a grocery giveaway in Tampa, Florida, still struggling following weeks without federal food aid.
It's going to take time. You have to, rob Peter to pay Paul. It's either food or lights.
Nearly a year into President Trump's second term, food and housing costs have surged.
You just expect when you leave the house that whatever you're planning for, you're probably going to spend more.
The president signed an executive order lifting his own tariffs on dozens of foods in an attempt to bring prices down. The price of beef never higher. Coffee, the most expensive it's been in half a century. Bananas up more than 8% over the last year. Food economist David Ortega.
So if we take that tariff away, that is going to reduce the inflationary pressures, but it's still going to take some time for those prices to come down.
Voters overwhelmingly supported Democrats who campaigned on affordability on Election Day. On Monday on Fox News, Trump was asked about the economic strain Americans say they're feeling.
It's a con job by the Democrats.
But he appears to be pivoting, proposing a 50-year mortgage designed to lower monthly payments. He also offered to send most Americans a $2,000 dividend from tariff revenues. CBS's Willie James Inman asked the president about that.
It'll be next year sometime.
Do you have a time frame? How many months?
Sometime during the year, next year.
Our Season of Giving campaign is underway. CBS stations across the Northeast partnering with the Wegmans Food Markets in our Season of Giving Check Out Hunger campaign. We were at a bunch of stores over the weekend, including Montvale in New Jersey, one of 3 locations on Saturday where CBS News New York greeted shoppers during live broadcasts. We all had a great time, and it was all for a wonderful cause. Spread out across the area to help raise awareness and help raise money. Right now, millions of people across the tri-state are facing food insecurity, and it's a small $1, $2, $3, or $5 donation made at your local Wegmans during checkout that can go such a long way.
$3 counts. Look, look, look. This is a super important cause, especially during this time of year, the holidays. So many people facing food insecurity.
Giving back to our community is part of CBS News New York's commitment to bringing it home. And you can check out the Hunger Drive that runs through November 29th, and you can donate in person or online. Next Saturday, we'll be broadcasting live from 3 locations across New Jersey during the Community Food Bank of New Jersey's annual Turkey Drive. We've got all the information for that, including a link to donate directly at cbsnewyork.com. And now to a CBS News New York investigation. A Staten Island man racked up thousands of dollars in tickets and tolls on a car that's not even his. Now the borough president is warning that this could happen again. Investigative reporter Tim McNicholas with the story.
Janine Muley says her 91-year-old dad doesn't drive much, only to church and the store near his Staten Island